This is the Georgia Dogs Podcast on the Believe Podcast Network.
Scored a touchdown earlier on a direct snap. Now it's Michelle's turn, running all the way. Gets to the edge. Sonny Michelle will send the Dogs home to the championship game.
53.5-yard drive near hash, kick right, snap, hold, kick is away, it's reaching, and it is good, good, good. Hot Pot does it. All right, Hot Pot.
Robots with an up and out, wide open. Touchdown. Israel Troupe.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. It is the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. What's up, man? It's another great week, another action-packed week. Apparently, we're coming to you live on Brinks TV, also on the Believe Podcast Network. We are presented by Bet Online. I'm Corey Burton, and joining me is the birthday boy himself, Israel Troupe. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Thank you for the birthday celebration shout out, man. I really appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'm glad I'm glad you were able to make one more lap around the earth, and hopefully you got many more to come. So, got a lot to talk about. We are presented by BetOnline.ag. BetOnline is back and better than ever. They have a new web interface for the start of the basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all basketball and football action this season. So head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today. Receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your bonus. For basketball, football, baseball postseason, which just ended. Unfortunately, Courtney, I was just informed that she's an Astros fan. Sorry, but the Braves have been starving for 26 years, so I was a very happy native Georgian to see that. Unfortunately, Israel, you're a Yankees fan, so you didn't get to enjoy it that much. But then again, your franchise has enjoyed 27 of these, so it's probably not a big deal.
I'm a Yankees fan. But at the end of the day, I always root for the home team if they're in it. And I'm very proud, to be from Georgia, to see Atlanta finally, break the curse, of everything that's been going on with us. And to see those guys battle back and come back in Game 6 was amazing. The home run that Soler hit is still in orbit at the moment.
Yes.
And just to see, those guys come together and do the things they did after, being counted out of the All-Star break was awesome.
Absolutely. And it was nothing short of amazing. Just the onslaught of home runs in Game 6 was ridiculous. And again, the Braves sent out a release apologizing to NASA for knocking a few satellites out of orbit. So there you go. Did you know on BetOnline you can also bet on NHL, boxing, and UFC right to your favorite Vegas casino games? So you can play blackjack, Caribbean stud poker, and roulette, and many, many more games. Don't wait to take advantage of all of the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all of your favorite sports. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. So, this week was, Monday was great to see all the Gator fans and make sure that they realize that Georgia won again.
Yeah.
And they dominated. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. But did you, in a little bit of some funny news, did you see this whole thing with the Texas special teams coach and pole assassin and her monkey attacking a trick-or-treater? Did you see all of that?
First of all, if you're a girlfriend, I don't get into the whole business. You have to answer somebody way more important than us. But the fact that your girlfriend's named Pole Assassin is mighty impressive. But at the same time, they did have a sign on the haunted house that said it is a distressed animal. You know, she's a service animal, or he is a service animal. So, I mean, most of those you don't touch anyway. So, I mean, I'm not really upset about that. I think it's bad that they're making it so much public news, you know, as the fact that now you're digging into the man's personal life, you know, because it's really not a big deal. You know, a monkey bit a kid, he's fine. Like, he didn't lose a finger or anything, you know, but you're trying to make it seem like he's a bad guy, which he's not, you know. So,
No.
you know, I hope everything works out for him. You know, he's an awesome coach. Obviously, he's a great coach, you know, to go to be where he's been and gone and done the things he's done. You know, if we were all judged by things we've done in our personal lives, then none of us would be where we are right now.
Yep, exactly. I'm glad there was no social media when I was in college. So that's probably for the better. But I just filed that one under the most ridiculous headlines of all time. Like very rarely do you wake up in the morning and you read on the front page that your girlfriend, who also has an infamous nickname and a monkey that is basically her basically helps her in her performance, attacks a kid, and her infamous nickname is Pole Assassin, which is a story in of itself. I just thought that was funny. And before we really get into the meat of our show, since Georgia's playing Missouri, I don't think there's much to preview there. But did you hear about this school in Los Angeles? Their principal is facing criticism, and he had to apologize. They won 106-0. Their quarterback was a UCLA transfer, threw for 13 touchdowns. They were up 83-0 at half. They were up 104-0, and they went for 2. And they decided because they didn't have a kicker. So your high school season just ended, Israel, but it could be worse. You could have been on the wrong end of that 106-0 beatdown.
Well, it's not as an offensive coordinator, you know as well as I do, it's not my job to stop me. It's the defense's job to stop me. So, I mean, if you can't play defense, then that's not my fault, you know. So,
yeah.
I don't really feel bad for him. I just want to know where the running clock was in order for this to be 100 and something.
Yeah, like how do you score 106 points when, you know, I didn't think you had time in a high school game to score 106 points. That's the impressive part. Yeah,
we get a running clock at 30. At 30 points, you get a running clock.
In Tennessee, we get it at 35. And it doesn't start till the second half. So, like we've been on the wrong end of some butt whippings this past season, but never like I think we got into the 60s once, where we got.
Here's the thing, though. Even in the 60s, they scored a lot in the first half. Think about it. The second half, they didn't really score. The second half lasted less than an hour on a running clock.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful thing, but so yeah, I just. It's insane, man. But I find it really hard to, you know, it's a competitive sport, and I get it. Like you never want to be on the wrong end of that. But then again, it is a highly competitive sport. So
the other team has to tackle.
The other team has to like actually play the sport. And, you know, if you sign up play, I mean, you just got it. It is what it is, you know, and you know, you hope that they can learn from it, obviously. But I mean, for the principal to have to like apologize for this, I'm sure this coach did everything he could after his kid threw for 13 touchdowns. I'm sure he did everything he could to, you know, not to score, not to run it up.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I'm sorry for that. If I'm the principal,
no.
I'm going to say I'm sorry that it got out of hand. But I'm not going to apologize for scoring 100-something points. I mean, what do you want me to do? Just take a knee every time I get football?
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell your kids who've been working, busting their ass all off season, sweating in the heat of Southern California, and you know, going through what you go through in training camp to say, okay, second half, take a knee.
Yeah, tell your team to tackle.
Yeah. Tell them tackle.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Do it.
I'll apologize for getting as far as 100 points. I'm not apologizing for beating you the way I beat you, though.
exactly. So I'm not I wouldn't be that worried about it either, but that kind of like that story kind of stuck out to me. I was like, good Lord, man, just like crazy.
That DC got fired on Monday.
Yeah, you think? Another DC that got fired. 1927 Haven High School defeated Sylvia High School in Kansas by a score of 256-0.
No,
that sounds like a score
back then.
No, they didn't. They probably didn't have a clock at all back then. They kind of just played. But I would figure after it got to like 90 something, they probably would have just quit. But geez Louise, that 256-0 sounds Saturday Night Live skit when they're talking about the Bears.
Yes,
that's what that sounds like. Yeah, the Bears 256, Packers 0. The Bears. Yeah, that's what that sounds like.
It's cold-blooded. Impressive and cold-blooded at the same time.
Exactly. So, speaking of cold-blooded, speaking of impressive, I don't really know how these adjectives fit into this, but the quarterback situation at Georgia, raising some eyebrows. Probably shouldn't. And we've talked about this before. JT is QB1. There he goes. Happy birthday. If you want to follow us, if you want to get on social media and tell Israel yourself happy birthday, just look down below Troopstar 28. You can give him all your birthday gifts and all that stuff. Send some funny stuff. That would be awesome. The winner, I don't know what prize you get. Maybe a pat on the back, I guess. I don't know, but give it a shot, right? So it's all scrolling. Follow us, all that good stuff. The quarterback situation. Who should start? I mean, to me, if JT's healthy, JT's the guy. I mean, he's got to start, right? Because we know what we got in Stetson. I love Stetson to death, right? He is great in the intermediate pass game, great at play action. He's mobile. He can get himself out of situations, but he's shown his limitations are pushing the ball vertically down the field, and that is the final step. Like if you want to go from being a good SEC team to being the number one team in the country, you have to have vertical presence. And we don't have that with Stetson. That's just one of his limitations. And JT brings that aspect of it. JT is very, very good, maybe even elite pre-snap, and he can get the ball out quick and fit the ball in some tight windows. That's where JT kind of sets himself apart.
I agree with that. But this is my take on it. If we're winning and JT's not quite ready yet, I would hold JT right now. Yeah, think about it. Here's one thing that people don't think about. He is going against the number one defense in the nation every day at practice. So it's not like he's just not getting reps or anything like that. He's getting quality reps against a quality defense. Let's not forget that part. But here's the thing that, for me, Stetson is a one-read guy. Think about all the passes he's made. It's been one read, bootleg. He's got one guy to read. Play action, one guy to read. Drop back, RPO, one guy to read. Now in the Florida game, I think they put a little bit too much on him to make him say, all right, we're going to run this, and then let's figure it out. The throws that he made, it was more so drop back, let's figure it out. Let's see if you can do it. He can't do that.
No, he can't.
So, and you watch in the second half, Tom Monkey said, don't worry about it. I'm going to take that away from you, and I'm going to make you throw one read routes. And that's exactly what he did. The touchdown to Kears Jackson was a one read route.
Yep. It was play action.
We get one-on-one, and we're going to throw it over the top.
If we get one-on-one on the slot fade, if he gets north of that safety, just put it on the back pile and let him go get it.
Exactly.
And he did.
And that's what he did.
And he did that beautifully. And this also tells you, as you listen to my island-themed ringtone, this also tells you that, JT maybe not as healthy as we think he is.
Yeah, that's what it showed me, because at that point, when he threw the second and the first one, they got you. The first one, you thought you saw one, the safety came off and made a pick. You underthrew the ball, first of all. If you throw it over the top, it's a touchdown. Let's not forget that part. But yeah, fine. I can live with that one. The second interception, though, was absolutely terrible. I don't know where he was throwing that ball or who he thought he saw, but it was the wrong read. and it was terrible. So I think Stetson gets to the point to where he's been doing it so good. He's been getting those one read like routes and concepts to the fact that he thought that, hey, I can try. I saw what I saw. I'm going to throw it. Well, you got three people down there on one person. Obviously, your guy's not going to come down with the football. You know,
especially in that situation.
I think he got a little bit too greedy. He got greedy when he could, which was the problem last year, check the ball down to the back. He got greedy. But like I said, he's been doing a really good job of doing what? Throwing the deep ball, one read type situation. Grantham, no matter what anybody says, this game on Saturday was not on Grantham. This game was absolutely on Mullen. Grantham had a really good game plan defensively. They took away what we like to do. At the big first half, they took away the run. He did a good job of disguising his zone coverages, making it look like man, and play zone behind it with his safeties in his corners. Did a really good job of that. I don't blame that on Grantham at all. But with Stetson, you can't be greedy. Just don't be greedy.
No, exactly. And, you know, that game, and you're exactly right. And I always look for an opportunity to blame Grantham in that scenario because that's, you know, just kind of what's convenient. But it's just not true.
Flaw.
I couldn't. I thought he had a great game plan. I thought they brought great pressure. I thought he was well organized for the most part. You know, obviously he's going to take some chances and he does some things that are unsound. But, you know, I thought his plan was overall solid. But, you know, Mullen should recruit better. Mullen, I thought, I thought he did try to do some things with Anthony Richardson that Anthony Richardson is not ready to do yet. You know,
in the Georgia Florida game, you tried to do things with him that, of course, you're like, oh, he's had experience. This, that. No, he has never played in Georgia Florida game before.
No,
when you walk out there in the stadium split 50-50.
Yeah, that's a new environment for him, and he's like, what bothers me about this is Dan Mullen thinks he's Kyle Trask, and he's not. Like, you can't. Yeah. Like, I don't know how many times I can say this. Maybe I need to say it in different languages, I guess. He's not Kyle Trask. You can't do last year's offense with Anthony Richardson. You just can't. Does Anthony Richardson and Emory Jones, do they throw it well? Yes. Are they accurate in some situations? Yes. Are they elite runners? Yes. Did they feature them in the run game? No.
This was the first time in Georgia, Florida history, from me watching the game, me playing in the game, and me being outside the game now as a former player, that I saw the talent discrepancy between Georgia and Florida. This is the first time that I looked across the field on TV and saw we're way better than them, talent-wise.
And coaching-wise. I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen this game where one side just grossly outcoached the other. Maybe in maybe in 09. Maybe in 09 was another example of that where Urban grossly outcoached Coach Rick. That was not Coach Rick's best game, but or 2015 maybe too. I don't know, but there's a couple instances. But I mean, it's a very small handful of instances where you just look over and go,
throw the bank at Dan Lanning to keep him.
Yes, we are, because
he is going to be on everybody's list to get. And if we don't do anything to keep him, he's going to be gone. Because that young man called a heck of a game on Saturday.
We're going to try, but Dan Lanning's going to be the next head coach at the University of Texas San Antonio when Jeff Traylor leaves for TCU. So, it's we're going to try everything we can, but I just don't know. I don't know if we can keep him. But we got Muschamp, so I'm not overly worried about it. But so this Georgia Florida game, man, it was so much fun. That flurry of points that we got right there before halftime was beautiful. It was beautiful.
and the way that we got them is absolutely amazing too. First of all, the Florida DB that intercepted the ball, just take a knee, and it's a touchback. Get the ball in 25 or 20 now? 25 now.
It's only 25 on kickoff. So
on 25. So you get the ball on 20, and now you got on the 2. First play should have been a safety. Jordan Davis is a man. He moved the whole center out the way to make that tackle.
Just
and he should have been stopped in the end zone.
Like, you know how you move your 1-year-old out of the way? Like he's just like in your way and you just set him to the side.
He did. That's he literally swatted the man out of the way and said, "Excuse me."
Yeah, like he was a little child. Like, hey, just get out of the way.
Excuse me, I'm trying to make a tackle here. You're in the way. You're impeding my progress.
Yep. I don't even think he impeded it. It's like he wasn't even there.
He tried to get in the way. But, I mean, you got that. And then,
just like I would try to get in the way of a tank. Yeah.
It's that whole sequence. Now you're second down. First, you're second down. And now you're going, you shift to empty.
Yeah.
You got N'Kobe Dean on a running back, which you're like, I got this matchup. But you throw a hitch, which they're sitting on, which
you
shows
throw
you
a hitch
how much they
late.
study film.
You throw a hitch
and they study
late.
Film.
Yeah.
Study film. N'Kobe Dean picks it. And then you come back and give up another 7 points.
Yeah, it's like, oh, geez. Brutal. Because Trevon Walker makes a freaking diving, look like a goalie in the World Cup, man. Tips it to Nolan Smith for the interception, and Stetson throws a dime. But, yeah, the first one was set up by Nolan Smith just ripping the ball out of AR-15's hand, just taking it from him like he's taking his lunch money, just, hey, give that to me. Beautiful play. Beautiful, just tackle the ball, get him held up, and just, we're going to sacrifice a few extra yards, but we're going to try everything we can to get this ball out, and they did.
Yeah, I was upset. I was like, are y'all not going to tackle him? Oh, crap, we got the ball. Never mind. I'm okay.
Yeah, you saw like when I saw Nolan tugging at the ball, I was like, okay, get him down at some point, but just get this. Let's see if we can get this ball loose. Because honestly, it wouldn't have mattered because they were just trying to kill the clock in that scenario. So I was like, well, they're not really going to score because they got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go 99 yards. They're not going to do that against this defense. So why not try to rake the ball out and try to steal some points? And we did. And we stole some more points. Then we stole even more points. Then we ended up stealing 21 points in 2 minutes and 22 seconds in game clock.
Literally 21 points in less than 2 minutes.
I'm like, good Lord. This defense is ridiculous. And then Zamir, obviously being Zamir. Guy's just a beast. James Cook had a nice game. I thought, our receivers played fairly well. I mean, just the game plan, just overall what we wanted to do in that situation, what we were going to do in that game was just, I thought it was outstanding. And I know it sounds like we're being a bunch of sunshine pumpers here, but I mean, it's hard not to be,
Yeah,
watching
I think it's a good job of Coach Monken and that staff not getting away from the game plan. They knew what they wanted to do. They're going to take their shots like they do every game, but we're going to run the football. We're going to play action you. We're not going to get out of what we want. We know what we want to do. It's your job to stop it.
And they ran counter.
They found their groove. Here it is.
They ran counter first 2 plays. Got 2 first downs.
Real quick.
I saw that. I was like, oh, no. This is going to be ugly. But, yeah, they didn't try to get too cute. They didn't panic, which a lot of teams do in that situation. That's where Florida wins a lot of their games, is they get teams to panic offensively and the other team gets themselves in trouble. Georgia didn't do that. Obviously the interceptions were terrible, but you never liked that. But and then the fumble, was it a fumble? Was it not a fumble? I don't know. It was close, but you got to hang on to the ball. You got it. It's ball security.
Yeah, that was a fumble in my opinion. The ball was moving before you hit the ground. You just, like you say, you just got to hold on to the football. That's it. You got one job. Just hold on to the football. Just
secure the rock, man. You made a good run. What was it, an 8-yard gain?
Yeah, he's going to score this week to make up for that. Don't worry.
He's going to score twice. Hell,
it's in the back of his mind right now.
Israel, you might score this weekend.
I just might. All the way from – actually, we play on Saturday. We have our last games on Saturday.
Who do y'all play?
We play Bainbridge, who is the #1 team in the region right now, and Kirby Smart's hometown. So we got them on Saturday.
Nice. That'll be interesting.
It will.
Why on a Saturday? Why on a Saturday?
Well, Cairo and Westover's playing right now. Jordan, Thomas County Central are playing tomorrow, so we got Bainbridge on Saturday.
I guess all in the same stadium. Is that why?
Yeah, we play in the same stadium because we got 3 schools in the area. in the county.
So y'all have like a county stadium that y'all travel to and play at. So y'all do this every week, like y'all rotate Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, a lot of times it's just this year it just falls on all of us having to play home games at the same time on this very week of all weeks. So.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it happens, right? Did you see the playoff rankings?
I did.
I mean, obviously Georgia number one.
I think it's time. It's time. We got to get more teams involved because Cincinnati should not be out of the top four, in my opinion.
They shouldn't be, no. And I'm kind of glad that they are because I do think this is ammunition for an expanded playoff. Mm-hmm. This is something you can point to. So for that reason, I'm glad. But it's early still. Michigan State, great story, but they're not going to stay number 3.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. They're playing really good football. They're going to mess around and beat some people that they're not supposed to.
I hope they do. I hope they do beat Ohio State.
What if they lose one, but they beat Ohio State and win the Big Ten? Do you keep them out?
No, they got to be in. You win the Big Ten, you got to be in.
Exactly. If Alabama loses one more, they're automatically out.
Yeah, they got to be out.
What if they win out, beat us in the SEC championship game? Do you keep us out?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, not if you're going 4 best teams.
Oklahoma loses one, but wins the Big 12. And then Oregon loses one. Which one you taking?
So losing one more?
Yeah, they're 2, but they win the Pac-12.
2 losses, though. See, this is why we need a 12-team playoff.
Who has the better looking record there?
Georgia or Oregon?
Of Oregon and Oklahoma.
Oh, of Oregon and Oklahoma? Oh, Oregon by a mile because they beat Ohio State.
But do you keep a 1-loss Oklahoma team out?
Yes. More impressive wins.
I mean?
More impressive wins.
To us, but to everybody else, no, because they only have 1 loss, and Oregon would have 2.
Yeah, I mean, you got a point. Yeah, it's tricky.
Or you keep an undefeated Cincinnati team out.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can, but they will.
Which is, excuse my language, BS.
They will keep them out. I have a hard time believing Oklahoma's going to beat Oklahoma State. First of all,
I don't think they beat Baylor. Honestly,
no, they probably don't beat Baylor either. I mean, does a 1-loss Baylor get in?
Yes. If they win the Big 12, yes, I think they do.
So they jump Cincinnati and Ohio State?
They would. I think they will in the fact of if Ohio State loses one more, Cincinnati loses one.
Which for Michigan State to win the Big Ten, Ohio State will have to lose one more.
Yes. I think you do. I think Cincinnati has to lose one, and Baylor have to go undefeated for the rest of the season for them to make playoff, which is highly possible.
I mean, you never know with that conference. I just have a hard time believing Oklahoma's going to. They've been freaking limping along.
They almost lost to Kansas. Kansas should have beat them.
Kansas should have beat them.
In all actuality, they should have beat them.
Hell, Tulane should have beat them. Tulane had them on the ropes. This is when they still had Rattler.
Texas should have definitely beat them.
Texas should have killed them. So they've been kind of limping in a little bit, which they're just ripe for a loss.
You have to expand the playoff, in my opinion. You expand the playoff, now you eliminate everybody's excuse and everybody crying.
Mm-hmm. Get 12 teams. You got everybody that deserves it. If you're arguing over who's 13, I would much rather that be an argument because it's not really. You're just like, all right, cool. You're 13.
Yeah,
awesome.
Whatever. You're number 13.
Whatever. Cool. Yeah. Instead of, hey, you're number 5, you're a conference champion, and you're being left out. Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah.
That's not
with
right.
a 2-loss team in the playoff, which could happen.
See, that's
how does Oklahoma jump all those people? I mean, not Oklahoma, Alabama. And you put them at 2.
Because they're Alabama.
Man, bump that. They lost to a no-name Texas A&M team. That's so disrespectful, in my opinion. Now, Are they deserving of it? Will they eventually probably be number 2? More than likely, yeah. But right now, no. You got a Cincinnati team.
Not when they lose to us.
Beat the hell out of everybody.
Yeah. Not when they lose to us, they won't be.
Cincinnati should be in the top 4, point blank period.
Mm-hmm. They should be. I thought they got it right the rest of the way. I thought they nailed it the rest of the way. Michigan State, absolutely.
Michigan State's looking really good. Oregon's looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma, they're number 5 in my opinion. So for me, it's number 1, Georgia, number 2, Cincinnati, number 3, Oregon, number 4, Michigan State, and number 5, Oklahoma. That's my and number 6, Alabama.
Yeah. See, I think Alabama's 6.
That's me.
Or Alabama, Alabama's 6. I think. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't like Michigan at 7.
I don't like that either, especially after the whipping you just took from Michigan State. You let them come back and beat you.
Yeah, like you choked that one away. I don't really like Oklahoma over Ohio State and either.
I think there's a lot of people who are wishing for things to happen just for ratings. But you got to think, people aren't going to want to. People want to watch good football. Yes, they do. But people also want to watch deserving football.
Yep, I think you're right. So deserving, I think Michigan State is deserving right now. I hope they continue and they win the conference. I really do. I think that would be some good shakeup in the Big Ten. The Big Ten needs that. The Big Ten needs somebody besides Ohio State.
Yes. And Michigan State actually plays defense. So that game, whenever they play it, is going to be a really good one.
And they're not a team that's going to luck into it either. I mean, they got a I don't want to say great because that's not even strong enough. They got an elite running back with Walker there. But and then they've got
for him as the front runner for the Heisman.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker, man. Just watching him that's a treat, man. And then Patrick Thorne as their quarterback, he deals, man. He sits back there and deals. He's tough. Like watching this Michigan State team, like I didn't think I would get into that Michigan State game as much as I did because I was like,
you're right. Me neither. I voted Sparty. I voted Sparty to win, but I was like, when they went down, I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then I kept just watching the game. I was like, they're gonna come back. Yeah, you could just see it happening.
Yeah, I was rooting for him. I was like, I know I picked Michigan, but I just thought Michigan was going to win. But I was like, damn. Because I really wanted to watch Baylor, Texas, like going into that time slot. I was like, Baylor, Texas is going to be the best game of the time slot. I know they're hyping up Michigan State, but honestly, I was like, I just don't think that game's going to be very exciting. And it was.
And then it was.
Then I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I was like, I got into a situation where I'm like, okay, Georgia, Florida's starting. Should I flip over yet? I did, but so yeah, I think, the rankings, for the most part, I think they got them right. But then again, it's going to be so fluid anyway, so we'll figure it out. We'll continue to break it down. But the first one, I thought they, I think it's perfect ammunition for there to be a 12-team playoff, and I think we're heading in that direction.
I think if Cincinnati wins out like they're supposed to,
if they win out and get left out,
it's going to be really good for everybody.
Yeah, it's time. There's some things that it's just time. I think you'll get a better product if you expand.
Coastal should have been in the playoff last year. Let's not forget that. Coastal should have been in last year.
Yeah, Coastal should have been. There's a lot of teams that should have been in last year. I
Alabama shouldn't have been in it the year that we should have won it. Alabama shouldn't have been in it that year.
No, they shouldn't have.
But, it is what it is. So, come on, Cincinnati. Y'all went on out so we can make this really an argument.
Yeah, do it. All right. Well, there is a game this weekend in Athens, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Playing against Missouri. Unfortunately, I don't know if you saw the news, but we're gonna have to do this one without Adam Anderson as he's going through a little matter, which I don't want to talk too much about or really about at all because still waiting on a lot of information. But as of right now, he's not dismissed from the team. He's just not participating right now. They're just kind of precautionary to make sure things settle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kirby has done a good job of making a swift decision on this and not flying off the handle about it either. Not immediately dismissing him.
Yeah, you want to always get the facts first, and it always starts with keeping him away from all football-related activities, simply because if he continues to practice with this situation going on, then what's it showing you? What's more important, football or the situation that's going on? You know what I mean? So you never want to give that look, from a football perspective and from a program perspective of that. Let's look at Baylor from years ago. So, these situations can go left or they can go right. So, as long as they handle it the right way and all the facts come out, let's look at it that way. But at the end of the day, you just got to be careful. I talk to my football players all the time, and I'm sure you talk to your guys all the time too. Mm-hmm. Don't ever make a decision today that can cost you a lifetime tomorrow. Exactly. So we really hope that everything works out. All the facts come out and everything's fine. Not only for him, but for anybody else that's involved in the situation.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully it all plays out the way it's supposed to. These things never appear good, but you never know. So, but the good news is this Georgia defense, next man up deal. And this is a unit that's allowed 6.6 points per game, 6 touchdowns, 75.6 rushing yards per game, 151 passing yards per game, collecting 3 interceptions and 3 fumbles recovered. Elite, right? You compare that to the 2001.
In the same sense.
Exactly. Clemson, there's a lot of people. I think we ignited Bo Nix, but luckily we made his day miserable. But you compare this to the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, which in the modern era, I would say probably the best defense ever in the modern era at this point. We'll have to wait for this season to play out to really do a fair comparison. But Miami was 8.1 points per game, 9 touchdowns, 136 rushing per game, 145 passing per game. They collected 16 interceptions, and they also recovered 15 fumbles. So statistically better than they are. But they won the national championship that year too. So for Georgia to be considered that.
Is that with Vilma and Ed Reed?
Vilma, Ed Reed, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whew, boy.
I think that team had 17 first rounders when it was all said and done.
Them boys were good.
17 future first rounders, throughout their classes. 5, I think 6 in 1 year, 6 or 7 in 1 year, which is insane.
And who said Kirby Smart can't develop football players?
No, he can't. Like, why does he recruit better, right? I mean, it's
Let
terrible.
me get my little violin here.
He's got to recruit better. Like these DBs, they can't do anything. I mean, they're only first rounders. Eric Stokes, who came in as a 3-star,
and they're only knocking the hell out of people. Keelan Ringo is a really, really good corner.
Elite, man. Like De'Aaron Kendrick, he comes in. I mean, he had a nice career at Clemson, but he's putting up elite numbers, man. He's only given up, I think, out of his 233 coverage snaps, I think he's only yielded like 23 catches.
Yeah, they did. I saw a breakdown the other day. Keelan Ringo has his receivers only caught like 110 yards, maybe. Kendricks is like 100, and then the slot receivers are not catching anything at all. Yeah,
like Lewis. Here's the thing. Like, if you really want to look at the development, Keelan Ringo is a special kid, right? He's big, tall, and fast, right, and physical. So you can say, you could probably argue that there's a lot of natural talent there, but if you really look at it, technique, you could see his development technique wise. The biggest centerpiece for Kirby Smart, I think, is going to be Lewis Seam.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at what he was last year, which he was basically just an out of control missile, kind of a liability in coverage almost. Was a walking targeting penalty, right? He's been outstanding in pass coverage this past season.
Yes.
His tackling
the
has been
2021 version of Greg Blue that can cover.
Yes, his tackling has been like, he's actually tackling now. He's not just trying to hit people. He's actually tackling. Yes. Like the
and
tackling,
you have linebackers that can cover slot guys. Let's think about that for a second. Linebackers are covering slot guys, so you don't have to bring in a special package.
No, you don't. Like you can just, you just drop a guy out there. Unfortunately, we're probably going to have to bring a couple special packages now, but I think your liability guy right now, and he's not even that bad. But I just wish he played harder, more consistently, which is Latavius Brini.
Oh, me and you text about this kid.
He
and I think
frustrates
it pisses
the hell
me
out
off
of me
so bad watching him because he cares. Don't get me wrong, he cares. But when I watch him play on a couple of plays, and I text you, I said, he just don't play hard for me. Like, he just looks like he's not playing hard.
No, because there's some lackadaisical mistakes. There's some balls that are being caught in front of him. There's some tackles that he misses that, like, you got to make those. You got to make those plays.
And I can remember about ODC saying, you give up the dollar route, but don't give up the $100 route, which means you can give up a short pass, just make a tackle. That's it.
Which 9 times out of 10 we do. We give up the dollar out, we come down, rally down, and guys down. Like, very little yak.
Yes.
Very little yak.
But he's not. He's not playing at the level that everybody else is playing.
And he needs to be replaced.
He's not doing his 9%.
No, he's not.
In my opinion,
he's not. He's not.
He's doing 8.5.
Yep, he's got to bring it, man. And that's going to, I mean, guys like that are going to be the key to this defense, because if you can get your weaker guys like that to play at a high level, you're going to be ridiculous. Like on the defensive line, like when you take Jordan Davis out, do you notice there's no drop off?
No, you don't skip a beat, and then you put all three of them in at the same time, which we did against Florida.
Yeah, you don't skip
against that.
It's ridiculous. You put in Zion Logue, and you don't skip a beat. Like, you were talking about development. Like Zion Logue, I knew him when he was a sophomore in high school. I didn't think in a million years he would even be a Division I kid for football. Like, he was soft.
Mm-hmm.
I love him to death. He's one of my favorite. He's a great kid. One of my favorite kids I've ever coached. But he was soft. Like, I got to be honest, he was soft. But
this goes to a shout out to all of our coaches too. Just goes to show how important coaching. First of all, how important recruiting is. Also, how important having the coaches to come in and coach these recruits is as well. Yeah,
and he really kind of bought in. I mean, you could see it starting to happen in high school, but he's always been by far the biggest kid in his grade. Like, he's always been that way with his peers. And so I just don't think he really knew how not to be soft, because he's probably always been told, be careful. Don't hit him, don't hit as hard. They probably, a lot of people in his life probably discouraged that. He gets into a senior year and, really just kind of blows up. And, a lot of it is his body. Being 6'6", 280, and can move. Basketball kid can move. Coaches saw that, and they developed it. And Sinclair got him in the weight program, got him some confidence, and he's thriving, man. Like, he's doing a hell of a job. I'm proud of him.
It's all about doing your 9%, your 9.1%.
9 point. That's what we want. We want 9.1. Do your job. When you're in, do your job. When you're not in, do your job. Whatever the case may be, you got to prepare. So this week, for Georgia's defense, it's really just Connor Basilick and really not much else. This offense just does not scare me whatsoever. I thought preseason they had some weapons, and I thought Basilick was going to be able to kind of get that stuff going. He just hasn't. Their defense is atrocious. They were going to be a lot better. I did too.
I thought they were going to be a lot better on both sides of the ball than they were last year. They haven't made a lot of promise last year.
Their defense,
they're struggling, but they're still pretty good on offense, though.
They can move it. Yeah, I mean, their style of play, their pace of play, they play with that up-tempo stuff. They're going to score.
They're still scoring points and things like that. But defensively,
they give up 265 rushing yards to Vandy.
Yeah, Vandy should have beat him.
Vandy really should have beat him. That's not good because we know what Vandy is. That's just not good. So, not much to talk about. Huh?
I did pick Vandy to cover.
You did. That's very good. Very good of you. Very smart of you. Very, very smart of you. I should really listen to you more when it comes to picks. I'm just gonna let you sign into my Bet Online account and just make my picks for me. How does that sound? You win me a lot of money.
I get lucky from time to time. It's not all the time, just every once in a while.
Only like 4 weeks in a row. That's not luck anymore, bro. It's just not luck anymore.
I got to start playing the lottery.
You do. Picks, man. You want to get into them?
What we got?
Got a nice little slate. So we gave you the very, very brief preview of Missouri because honestly,
we all know what's going to happen.
We know what's going to happen, right? It's a 38.5 point spread. I just have a hard time believing we're not going to cover that. Like
we've covered everyone except for Kentucky, which he did call timeout. Kudos to him.
Yeah, I
think Coach Stoops had money on that game too.
He did, which I mean, I would have called timeout too. I don't blame him. So really, let's start Ole Miss Liberty. Ole Miss. Talk about Red Cross unit, man. They are beat up. Injuries across the board. Their depth is being tested. It's failing right now. They've gone on kind of a skid a little bit. But they welcome Liberty into town. They're 9.5 point favorites. Israel, can they cover that?
I think they can, but they have to stop Malik Willis. Malik Willis is a very good quarterback. Hugh Freeze is coming back into town. So,
do you think he's got Polis Assassin on speed dial?
I don't know. I'm going to take Liberty. I think I'm going to take Liberty to cover. It's corral playing.
I think he's going to limp out there. Yes, I don't think they're going to play him for too long.
I'm taking Liberty.
All right, you're going with Limu Emu, okay? I got Ole Miss. I'm taking Ole Miss. I just think the depth of an SEC team, they should cover that spread pretty easily.
They can't stop Malik Willis. If Malik Willis is on, they can't stop him.
Okay. I know I said I should listen to you. I just can't, though. I just can't on that one. I just can't.
Ole Miss. Don't forget Arkansas, Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They can't stop much. Auburn at A&M. A&M is 4.5 point favorites at Kyle Field. This one's a tough one. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
I think Bo Nix perhaps the bet in this one. I'm going Texas A&M.
Ooh. See, on SEC After Dark, I picked Auburn because I think he's been on a bit of a heater. And I think they've been so I might have to pivot here.
He's played two defenses that aren't very good defenses. Think about all the defenses he's played that are really good. Texas A&M has a really good defense.
That is true. That is true.
They're going to make him think about it.
They are. Damn, you talked me into it. All right, I'm going Aggies too. I'm calling an audible. I picked Auburn yesterday.
I think it's going to be a
yesterday.
defensive ball game because Auburn's defense is playing really good football right now. They really are.
And that's why I kind of lean on the defense and running game.
But I think with the fact that Texas A&M's quarterback beat Alabama, and Bo Nix is Bo Nix, and he tends to not do very good against good defenses, I think I'm going to have to go with Texas A&M in this one.
Okay. Well, in SEC After Dark, I'm going to have to atone for this loss, but I think I'm wrong now. You talked me into it. You did. Good job.
Hey,
Arkansas.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I feel you. Are you buying into Mississippi State because they travel to Arkansas? They're 5-point dogs. Are you a believer in the Pirate now, or you think Arkansas's got them?
I don't think they can play defense against a really good offense, an offense that knows what to do. So I'm taking Arkansas.
Okay. I took Mississippi State just for, I said, you know what, they're on fire. They're rolling.
They are. They really are. I can't take that away from them.
They have a lot of confidence. You can't go too far with that. This is basically a pick'em game. So if you're going to bet this game, you just might as well take the money line here. Kentucky at the Grocery Bag host the Vols. Are you buying Rocky Top at this point? Or is Kentucky, is this slide that they're on, is it concerning? Is Georgia broken them too?
I'm buying Rocky Top because homeboy's going to figure out to throw at least 2 picks in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I am, and I'm going to lose my dog card. I can't fully admit it, but I really like what Tennessee's doing. I really wish Josh Heupel was somewhere else so I could actually root for him.
We can root for them too, as long as they're not playing us.
That's true. Well, I don't know. There's so many Tennessee people up here. I have a hard time with that.
Oh yeah, for you, yeah, that's true.
I have a hard time with that. So you can do that down there. You can. I'll root for him vicariously through you. How about that?
I can handle that.
Cool. No pressure. All right, Bama 28.5-point favorites over the Tigers. Now, given what Coach O has said about Bama, I have a hard time believing Bama's not going to cover the spread, just as a big middle finger.
Is this game in Tuscaloosa?
It is.
Oh, they're going to beat the hell out of LSU.
It is in Tuscaloosa.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's hard to play for a coach that you know is leaving. Like, he knows he's leaving.
It's hard to play for a coach when you've already quit on him.
Yeah,
I mean, did you hear about all that? Did you hear about all that where they couldn't practice because they didn't have enough players to practice?
I saw that.
It's going from bad to worse over there, and they beat Florida somehow. I don't know how. I know how they beat Florida. They just ran counter. You can do that with anybody. Speaking of Florida, they're 18.5-point favorites on the road at South Carolina.
I'm taking
Carolina? Are you taking Florida? Yeah, so am I.
I'm taking Florida.
South Carolina's bad. They're real bad. That's another team that should have lost.
And I'm only taking it, I think, defensively. Like, they could hold them, but they won't be able to score offensively. So apparently, eventually it'll be like 21-0.
Yeah, I just don't think South Carolina can score enough to even cover an 18-point spread. It's gonna be hard for them to cover if they can't score. And I think Florida's capable of scoring 20 at least. So, I think it'll be 28-3 type game. Okay, we go. We stay in conference, sort of. Texas at Iowa State. Iowa State 6.5-point favorites here. Texas, Israel is a weird team. If you just keep the scoreboard locked on second quarter, they're great. They're not a second half team.
I'm taking Iowa State from a physicality standpoint in the second half.
Great pick. See, now
they're going to out physical them in the second half to win the football game.
Absolutely, they will. Absolutely. I love Bijan Robinson, but there's just no way Texas is just not ready yet. You can still tell that they just don't know how to finish.
Mm-hmm.
you can tell you see as far as Sark has got them starting like a blaze of freaking glory, and then they crap out because they're not in good condition right now, and they just don't know how to play with a lead. They're not used to that.
I think if you give him a full off season, like a legit off season, I think when they come into the SEC, I think they'll be a lot more competitive than they are right now. They'll be able to finish a couple games.
And you can see that now. So that's the good news on that. And you're starting to see some early returns on Sark. It's not, Texas fans obviously want to see it in the record and the scoreboard, but it's just sometimes it's just not there yet. All right. How about them Cowboys? -3.5 at West Virginia, Oklahoma State, favored in that game on the road. This one's tricky. This one's very tricky.
What's the spread?
3.5.
I'm taking West Virginia.
Ooh. See, I took Oklahoma State because they are going to be razor sharp, focused, ready for bedlam. That might actually be a bad thing too, but
that's why I'm taking West Virginia.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be locked in for bedlam, and I think they're gonna be locked in for this one too, just so they don't screw it up for bedlam. I'm taking the Cowboys here, which you'll probably be saying, "I told you so" again. Damn it. Michigan State, speaking of Sparty, they travel to West Lafayette. This is a freaking scary game. They're 3-point favorites on the road at Purdue. Luckily for them, they're not ranked number 2. Maybe we should send Alabama to Purdue to play. That'll get them out of the way, right? This is a scary game for Michigan State. I think they win. I think they cover, but this is a scary one for them.
Okay, the last time Purdue played a number 2 or a high-ranked team, they beat them. So I'm going to go with Sparty, but Sparty don't get caught slipping because they'll beat you.
Does Iowa count, though?
I think they do because they were playing really good football at the time. They really were. Defensively and offensively.
They're broken now. Did you see that Wisconsin game?
Purdue broke Iowa.
They really did. They broke the Ferences. I think they made the country realize that the Ferences aren't long for Iowa. I think they've run their course. So, but Israel, that's going to do it for us, man. This has been a great birthday celebration for you. Again, follow us on social media. It's scrolling right here below us. Find our YouTube channel, subscribe, comment. You can find us on Twitch. You can find us on Facebook, everywhere. It's great. You can find me on SEC After Dark. We're streaming. We echoed on 27 channels last night on SEC After Dark. So what that means is our show was streamed to 27 different YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, whatever channels, social media channels. So maybe we can do the same. That may be in the works. But subscribe, comment in the meantime. Check us out. We are again. We're looking to be the number 1 Georgia show on the market, and we bring it to you real, man. That's what we do. So, Israel, what is your birthday dinner of choice? Like, does your wife say, "Hey, I'm going to cook you a special meal just for you"? Does she do that, or does she take you out to a special restaurant? What's your go-to there?
I'm big into surprises. So tonight she made a big pot of rotel dip, which I love rotel dip. You can't go wrong. You can't. So it was good to come home. My babies came and sang me happy birthday. So it was really good, especially being a dad. All my players were saying happy birthday to me. They sang happy birthday to me today.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes you feel, good to know the impact you have on not only your own kids, but, the kids that you coach as well, that they actually like you no matter how many things you throw and the bad things you say to them. Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? So what's your cake of choice? What's your go-to?
Oh man, I didn't get a cake this year. I do love cake, don't get me wrong, but I'm a donut guy. So my wife bought me a mountain of donuts.
Ah, so you had like a donut cake,
Yes, like a legit donut cake.
Krispy Kreme, of course, right?
I don't know where this one came from. I just saw a mountain of donuts and I got excited.
Hey, it doesn't matter at that point, right?
Look, there's two things in life you can't say no to: a good hot dog and a good donut. Those are guaranteed.
Those are definitely guarantees, and a good slice of pizza.
Top 3.
Yeah, good slice of pizza. Yeah. So, but that's going to do it for us, man. We hope you had an Atlanta Braves type week, and we hope you have an Atlanta Braves type weekend. We hope you don't. We hope you enjoy your weekend responsibly. We hope you enjoy if you're going to Athens. If you're traveling to Athens, we hope you have a safe ride up there. We hope you have a nice experience at Sanford Stadium and enjoy all the amenities that we have. Hopefully the Braves will be there. I know Kirby's been working on that, getting Blooper, the mascot, to come hoist the trophy at Sanford. So, but we hope you have a great Friday, great rest of your week, an even better weekend.
If you're traveling to Athens, avoid 285 up through Fulton County, Cobb area, because everything's going to be shut down.
Is it usually?
No, well, just Fulton County, Cobb County, everything's shut down because the Braves are returning back home tomorrow for the parade.
Parade, yes. Okay, so take that recommendation. And until next time, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
This is the Georgia Dogs Podcast on the Believe Podcast Network.